Ooh. Hello, everybody. Anybody who may. Well, I don't even think. I don't think these are being saved to my YouTube even. So I guess it's like so pointless even to do these. But a couple of people have come on and seen them. This was a live. I guess I wanted to do for a while. I want to. Well, here's a book. Prepare for Anything manual, survival manual, which is great. I think a lot of people should have. Like, if everybody, let me see. The reason I homestead to prepare for the best of circumstances. And I practice like survival for the worst of circumstances. Right? Well, shit, somebody gave me a like. That's awesome. Cool. Thanks for the like. But I do. I practice homesteading for the best of circumstances, and I practice survival for the worst of circumstances. Survival being like knowing how to make a shelter, all kinds of stuff, anything in here. But really, this book here is awesome. There's a million things, right? Like, I know how to tie some basic knots, but say I need a knot to do something that, like, that I don't know how to make a knot for that purpose. You know, I could just reference that in here, right? And there's like how to deliver a baby, which is like, it's like all basically any circumstance you can get yourself into. But there's like a million different types of these books. Some are given by the Army. In my garden, collecting all old wood, been prepping for years, and my family thinks I'm nuts. They won't. No, they won't. They won't. Things are going crazy, but I don't understand even what is the crisis. Like, really, I think it's the crisis of the cell phone. Because honestly, like, in the actual world, there is no actual problems that I worry about. Really. This book is awesome, right? You got wild auto repair, make a fire kit, bandage a wound, 8 essential knives, which is stupid. You don't need 8 knives. I'm never going to use a knife as a hatchet. There's never a circumstance where I'm going to need to use my knife as a hatchet. So I don't. I think a knife should be used as a knife. But I have a multi-tool in my bug out bag, of course. But that's like, because I mean, the thing is like Jesus said, though, you can't really prepare. All you can do is gain a lot of different skills, because really the skills are the best, are what you're going to need no matter what. So, like, I know I've been learning how to garden. I got a greenhouse and a garden too. And every year I double the size of my garden. You know, and that's also for just like, even if everything stays completely fine, that's a great idea anyway, because I live in an agricultural area. I sell some eggs already. There's starting to be a demand for my eggs, and so I'm going to continue each year. I'm going to keep increasing my flock of laying hens, and I'm getting a rooster, so I'm going to begin a breeding program. I gotta be able, because this stupid bird flu thing that happened last year, it got very difficult to get chickens last year. I hope I can get them this year, because I don't have a breeding program, and so I have to buy my baby chicks, and that's like a weakness. And I don't like having weaknesses in my strategy or whatever. But also, I get all my eggs for free, and I even make a small profit on just having 11 laying hens, right? I sell 3 dozen egg a week. That more than pays for the feed, even in wintertime, which wintertime they go through a lot more feed because they're not on pasture. But yeah, I'm into that. I've got some land. I got a sawmill and some land. You know, that's something that I think people need. I think, like, well, my philosophy is to be as resilient as possible, right? Like I went 5 years ago, I was homeless. I was homeless for 2 years, right? And then 3 years ago, I moved here. Uh, but I made myself homeless. Like I was renting some guy's basement. What I did was I just packed up. I gave him. I had like 2 months rent. I made sure I had like 2 months rent ahead in case I had to come back to my bedroom, right? But I moved out and onto an island. It made a big teepee because, like, in my mind, I thought the teepee was going to be awesome. Right? I was like, oh fuck, I'll just lay there reading books all winter and have like a big open fire with the smoke going up out the roof. I thought that'd be fucking awesome. But that year got to minus 35. It was getting to like minus 35, minus 40 at night. And you cannot get the teepee warm at that point. Like even by the end of the winter, the hole was only like this big in there, and it was freezing. The heat would not stay in the enclosure. And so after that, my subsequent winter out there, I built an enclosed type of cabin with I used mud and rocks to build a fireplace, and it worked. Like, you know, used mud and rocks, and then until that one ended up getting burned down. I burned that one down by accident, and it was stupid, but it happens. I seem to have like accidents sometimes. You live and you learn, right? But that's like the reason why I did it. Was trying to learn how to survive. Anyway, I've also got this little kit here. I think it's pretty cool. Well, other tools I use. Okay, so what I homestead for the best of times. What I mean by that is like selling my eggs. I love doing that. And like, even if things stay as good as they are right now, if I were to have 10 times the chickens that I have right now, I would have a livable income and 10 times the chickens I have right now would still only amount to maybe 20 minutes of work a day. Like it wouldn't be much more. A bit of infrastructure. I'd have to build some infrastructure. Having a sawmill like allows me to build it for just the cost of nails, right? Like if I need to expand my fence bigger, I got a sawmill. I just make boards and build a bigger fence, and now they have a bigger enclosure. If I need a bigger coop, I just mill some boards, build a bigger coop. Now it's like the portable bandsaw mill. It cost me $3,800 to get it, and 10 extra blades delivered here. It was $3,800. It was like $3,806 or something, and that's after taxes. From Woodland Mills. Great. I got the base model, 7 horsepower HM126. If it was today, I would get the bigger motor. I would have spent a few $100s extra, because now I got to spend $1,000 on a bigger motor for it. But I'm getting a diesel motor for it, kind of in line with my apocalypse plans, right? Because it's like, if you have diesel, you can use bacon fat and run your sawmill. You can run the thing with bacon fat. So why wouldn't you? Like, so it's like I want to. That's kind of like where I'm at, is with like having ability. Well, also I'm poor. Like I said, a few years ago I was homeless, and my dad died, and I was like, okay, well, I promised my dad months before he died that I'd take care of my mom. It's weird, man. Like I'm telling you, there is a God. Like, there is, because I came here and like, fuck, my dad's dead, but I'm like, okay, if my mom needed, like, the property needs somebody here to be able to do things. We were on our way here, actually, when he died. I was here on my way here to fix the guest trailer in the back, waterproof it, which I did. I put all new siding on it. I built this nice porch out front. There's a bunch of jobs that needed to be done here, and I was coming here to do them, and they got done. They got done, and and but they're still like shoveling the driveway. The driveway's super long. It's we live in an agricultural area, like I said. And there's just a ton of work that has to be done around the property. You need a man to do it. My mom wouldn't have been able to live on her own. So I did that. And, but I ended up getting, while being here, I asked, I was pointed in a direction of a guy to talk to about land because my mom said, yeah, she'd loan me some money to get land. But it's pretty cool how things work, man. How God was there. So like, I had $10,000. Like when my dad died, I guess my mom gave me, my brother, and my sister each $10,000. So I had that, maybe like a couple thousand of my own money from working that I was saving up. I was saving up money. And we met a guy, and he said, or my uncle came down for a visit, and we started talking about getting land. And then so I talked to a guy. And he showed us, he thought it was 55 acres for $40,000. Right. But it ended up afterwards that it was actually 82 acres. It was a mistake there. He actually sold us a lot more than what he thought he was selling us, but it's all water under the bridge. I just think it's like God's plan, because like I'm like the poorest guy ever. Now I own land. And I think that's like where my place is in, like, I see everything as being like in the service of God, and everything being like a plan. Although when I say God, I don't mean a guy or a being somewhere. I mean the all, the monad. It's really all you. The minute you put a label on it or put a name to it, you already like disgrace it. It's kind of the way I see it. I see it as like, but that thing is also you as well. It's wild, man. It's like, so I was like watching the thing like as above, so below earlier today. Oh shit! I was talking. I wanted to keep on topic about survival. So skills. The reason why I think homesteading skills are important is, well, first off, it's a whole lot easier to raise meat than it is to raise vegetables and stuff. And you don't need as much land, especially if you have access to a feed store, which is what most people do. Although I am beginning now to start growing my own feed. I will be growing more of it, not all of it. But I am going to have to start growing feed, a lot more of it for my animals. Every year, I'm going to start growing a lot more. I'm going to just start supplementing feed. All right, supplementing feed, like having lots of sunflowers, the entire plant, like all the leaves, flowers themselves, and the seeds are all edibles by chickens. Cows will even eat the stalks and everything, and like the whole plant is like contains all the amino acids you need for complete protein. It's like basically most animals can, like any herbivore type of animal or omnivore animal can survive on it. And corn is good just because it's got a ton of calories. It's great. And, so those would be my two crops. But of course, I still need. I'd like to. Well, the beaches all around here stay pretty clean. Well, then again, you know what? I could probably pick lots of mussel shells off the beach after the tide goes out. Actually, over on the north side, even on the south side here. I'd have to just go out. So I probably could, because that's the thing about chickens. You gotta have calcium. It's They get it themselves from bugs. And they can get enough, but they need a lot of bugs and not to sustain an egg a day. The thing is modern chickens have evolved on feed. That's what I mean. Evolution happens very, very fast. Ha. Interesting. Interesting. It does seem to happen very fast. And if we're all in the same environment, we'd be evolving. We're at different points, different races, whatever, in the same environment at different points, but you're evolving along the same lines. So you'd become more and more similar as time goes on. Even without interbreeding, you would still just become more similar as time goes on. Oh. Huh. So I mean, I don't believe. Well, a lot of assumptions that I've made in my have been wrong. But I can tell you that when people don't have hope anymore, things are going to collapse. Like that's the problem, is that young people can't buy houses, and you can't, like, we're going into like communism. Like, when there's nothing to live for, you don't bring new life into the world, and every people feel stuck. People feel like they're stuck in this like 9 to 5. You got to go to work in order to survive. And it is true that life requires work. You cannot survive without work. But not every, we have to question our assumptions. So, like, I moved out into the woods, and I was not going to pay rent anymore. And it was 2 reasons for that. Well, first, I was like, fuck, man, it's just exploitation. It's just exploitation. And fucking, like, I'm subjecting myself to exploitation by paying rent. You're profiting. You're going to sit there and lie or whatever else because you could rent it to somebody else. Like, oh, no, I can rent to anybody. But it's like it's still exploitation, and it's usury. You're getting free money, and I'm getting what, a fucking bedroom in your basement? And it's just like, fuck. And if this is what I'm living for, man, I'm not, because at this point, just having that obligates me to have to go to work. So I'm like, is that really the hole in somebody's fucking basement? Is it really worth like selling my fucking life for? And you're selling all other possibilities of what your life might look like for the possibility of living in a box in some guy's fucking basement. So I was like, hey, well, this is not for me, man. I'm not doing this. So it was a COVID-19 thing was going on, and I was like, it's anything. Like, fuck. They're like, I was like, I don't know if I'll even be able to go to the grocery store. So I better learn how to feed myself just in case. Because like they were like going, oh no, you can't go to the grocery store unless you get the vaccine. And I'm like, I'm not getting a vaccine. Like, and it's not because I don't believe in vaccines. It's not because of that. The reason why is because you want to force it on me. And I don't believe in force. I don't believe in being forced to do fucking anything. And the minute you start fucking telling me you're not gonna be able to go to the grocery store unless you get this needle, as soon as you start doing that, I say, okay, well, what's my alternative here? I don't even think for a second about taking your needle. It doesn't even occur to me, oh, maybe I'll just take your needle so I can go to the grocery store. My alternative is like, okay, what am I going to be able to do if I can't buy, sell, or work? All right, I'm a bricklayer. Guess I got to learn. I guess, while I still have the internet, I better figure out what plants are edible around me and learn some skills. So I went down, built myself a shelter. And I learned the hard way why you don't want to try to survive the winter in a teepee. It's fucking hard. It's not a good design. you know? So fuck you. Even if I was a guy right now wanting to survive, I'd be looking at skills, not tools. Fuck your items. Don't prep. Don't prep. Like, if things get real bad, like yeah, if stored food in the basement, like cans, is great to have. And in the best of circumstances, that's good. But if shit actually goes down, you're not going to be able to hunker down, man. You only, as much of that as it's going to fit in your backpack is all you're going to fucking going to be able to take. And honestly, you've got so many things that you need. I'm going to have to fucking put together a bug out bag here on this thing. The one thing that you should have is fucking like a rain suit. Because wherever you are, you're going to have to do things, in any kind of survival situation, you're going to have to do things in the rain. You should have like a rain suit in your bug out bag. You can get them in there. They come in a little bag and they're just a little capsule. And you get 2 little capsule things and you got your rain suit. And you got to have a good saw. Like I got this little kit, which is awesome. This is great. Where for some reason I needed a little kit of handy little things to survive for a few days. Like this little saw is not great, but you can use it to cut metal even. Yeah, people have used these to like cut bars to try to get out of jail, or somebody tried to hurt anyway at one point, and that's how he found out there was a fucking metal tube inside that rolls, and so you can't cut the bar. You can't cut jail bars. A little tactical flashlight, which is cool. It's supposed to be. I don't know. They got some warnings. I haven't put any batteries in it. Check on it, but that's a neat thing. You gotta have a knife, man. That's one thing. Here's a little fire starter. But yeah, lots of different ways to start fires for sure. Like I got a Bic and I got a Zippo. I've got flints. I've got lighter fluids, butanes, and different refillable lighters. I got tons of different lighters because I know how fucking nice it is to have a lighter in a survival situation of any kind. Even this, a little bit of lighter fluid, and this is fucking beautiful. Or even a little bit of alcohol. That's why I gotta say it. I'd bring a still. I would bring a still. Even you could make an alcohol out of rose hips and distill it, and you could distill it multiple times, so it's basically 100% alcohol. And you've got a great antiseptic. You've got fucking a great little fucking fire starter. Fucking this and a bit of fucking 100% alcohol. You're gonna light whatever fire you start. You know what I mean? It's got your fires are gonna light. Compass. You definitely, if you're going to be in the woods, you need a compass. I don't care who the hell you are, man. You need a compass if you're in the woods. If you're going to be walking in the woods and you think you're going to be making progress, you need a compass. Because you can get turned around in a few steps in the woods. Just walking 10 feet. Because the thing is about the woods, and you don't think so. You think, oh no. Oh no, I'm gonna navigate by the sun. How the fuck are you gonna see the sun under a thick canopy? If you're actually in thick woods and under a thick canopy, you'll see glimpses of the sun. You'll see your sun around noon. You'll see the sun around noontime, and the sun's moving anyway, but you're not seeing much. Oh, the moss grows on the north side of the tree. What are you gonna do? In thick woods, especially down trees, shit like that. Like you're gonna try to get around one obstacle. You got to come this way, and like, there's another obstacle. It's not easy to get around it. Like if you got game trails, you're good. You follow game trails, but you're so you follow game trail. Even following a game trail, you're fucking like you're turning and you're moving in so many ways that within 20 feet of walking, you could be facing 4 or 5 different directions, right? So it's like you can't really navigate effectively in like in forest conditions without a compass. And some places, like you say, if you're getting into anywhere where you're actually going to survive, there's like tens of square kilometers of woods before you're fucking getting anywhere. Before you even get to a road, in a lot of places, you could be, you could walk fucking 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers and not hit a road. Maybe like you start getting into like northern Canada. So I think a lot of people think that they're going to be able to hunker down and survive in the cities. Like this isn't. A lot of people think that their tools are what they need, or are gonna get you through it. Like a gun, like whatever gun it is you have, and it's like, no, man, I've got a compound bow. I'm not gonna lie, which is great. I'll always be able to find a stick that I can sharpen and use I got to get a flint knapping kit for my bug out bag, a flint knapping set. Because, as long as I can find some chert, or I can find some flint, or there's like a lot of different kinds of rock that you can use that you can flint knap, right? As long as I can find something that right kind of stone, I can fucking make arrowheads and secure some kind of meat. So what I mean, a multi-pronged approach, but I'm also at the same time. It's not like I'm changing, but I'm just like I'm also anyway. I'm a minimalist. I want to live on like egg production, meat birds. I do my bit of carpentry and around for people. Go to work for whatever work I have. Every year I double my garden. This year I'm going to make it more than double because I'm going to add sunflowers and corn, and eventually I'm going to have fields, and I'm going to have pigs, and I'm going to have hundreds of chickens, or I don't know how many. I'll have some. But I'm also going to have wood. I'm going to build a wood kiln, and I'll be able to sell kiln dried wood to people. So if you want to come to me, you want to buy wood for something, like you're not allowed to use it for structures because it's not graded, but any wood I give you will be fine. Because if I'm selling you a 2x4, it's going to be a hemlock 2x4 or fir. I wouldn't even sell spruce for that kind of wood. Spruce, it's too many knots. I don't trust spruce. I don't trust spruce. Spruce is not a great wood. Hemlock is superior because it just grows as like a huge log right up into the air straight, like pretty much, and very little taper. So hemlock would be like, it could be like say 14 inches at the base. It'll be 12 inches at like 16 inches at the 16-foot mark still, or no, it'll be 12, it'll be like 10. So it's like 14 at the base. It'll be like 16 feet up high. The diameter will still be 10, and it'll go up like that and then just suddenly get smaller. And it will grow. It doesn't really grow branches on it until it gets to the top. It's a really good thing about the hemlock is it'll grow like these little skinny little things, nothing bigger than that, all the way up this like 40-foot high tree. until the top of it, right? And then that's when you'll have your branches and all the foliage. Uh, so that's what makes it a very choice tree for making like studs and uh, any kind of like studs or joists or any kind of wood like that, beams, whatever. Anything where you need that strength. Fir is also good like that too. Although fir will get some knots, but nothing like not like spruce. Spruce will get knots where the wood's just garbage. It has no strength. I need a glass of water. I'll be right back. See, life without work has no meaning and no purpose. The misery of the homeless is that they have no purpose and they have no dignity because they still have everything. They still get the 3 meals a day. Everything's provided for them. They get a bit of welfare money so they can buy drugs. They do, they could do some begging and they get more drugs. They can get high that day, real good and high that day when they do some begging. Hey, do you need to go outside? No, you're okay. I've been around in the world of the homeless. I don't want anybody to be callous toward them. Although I will tell you this is another thing too. Judge not, should be judged, man, because from what I've been told, there's families living in tents in Hamilton, the city I used to live in. If that's the case, but I've also met some senior citizen homeless that were, I'm talking just about the drug addicted homeless, the zombie apocalypse, not the homeless, like the senior citizens who couldn't afford their rent. Like something happens to their apartment, like that's the thing, right? Like they're living on they're on a pension and they're just living. Like they have their monthly budget. This is how many dollars I have to go to the movies. This is the money I have to go to play bingo. This is the money I have for my groceries, and everything's like allocated, right? There's no extra. They're just living month to month. They get the same amount every month, so they know what they spend every month on each thing, and they survive. And for some reason, they lose their apartment. Like the one guy I talked to, it was there was several guys and several reasons, right? Like one guy moved into his girlfriend's house and with his girlfriend and her mother, and then he got in a fight with whatever, I don't know. But he got so he had to move out. So he was there, and then there was another guy who was had an apartment with a guy for years. He was gay, I guess. This other guy, and they had an apartment. They had this like apartment for years, and then the guy died, and his the estate got sold. Like he had to move out. And because the estate went, like, I guess this, whoever the estate went to didn't want him there. They planned on just selling it or whatever, and so he had to move. And so he ended up homeless. So, and at that point, like, he didn't have any money to saved up, and he also didn't have any money to be able to save towards first and last months on another place either. So he just had to stay for a month in the Salvation Army, which was a rough spot, man. Like I feel bad for that because it's Like, I don't really so much. I don't feel bad for the drug addicts that are there. I feel bad for like the senior citizens that end up there, and it's like they're in this environment of people openly doing drugs and stuff, uh, and they haven't committed a crime. It's like they're being punished. You know, it really is. It's like a punishment for them, which is just too bad. Which is too bad. It is. But there's also nicer places too. There's better places with higher security. I was in another homeless shelter called Rosewood too. That had higher security. It was better. It was nicer in that way. It was not like, I don't know. The drug use had to be hidden, and so. But there was a lot of people who. One thing I don't understand is people who complain about homeless shelters, because like homeless shelters, it's like you're fed, you have a place to sleep, and you don't have to be outside in like the rain or the cold, right? You're in a bad environment. It's not like having a home, right? So it's not like having an apartment or having a home. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. I don't know. But yeah, knowing how to build basic shelters, but also having the ability to build systems. Like even if I were to get it, like learning how to farm is good always anyway, because you want to be able to continue with like society or continue with your own life and help others as well. Like community is always going to be important. I don't know. I don't even know what's even coming, man. I don't even know what it's going. Well, I know what it's foretold to look like. It's foretold to be like a global civil war. I can I can tell you what I think it's going to look like based on just the evidence I can see around me. I think it's going to be like a race war, a racist thing. Well, not so much racist, but like prison gangs. When people start getting aggressive towards each other, they start banding together. Right? Like it's like, or when you're in an unsafe environment. Like in prison, the reality of prison is anything could happen at any moment, at any time. Right? And you're in there and you're seeing all this shit, and people naturally they'll gravitate towards race. And that's why every prison basically segregates itself by race. It's because it's human nature. I think the same thing is going to happen in society when people start to really feel threatened. I think that's exactly what's happening now with food prices, food insecurity, job insecurity, stagnant wages and rising cost of living. But at the same time, it costs surprisingly little if you're willing to adapt. Like my mom pays for the groceries and does the cooking. But I buy the gas for my own vehicle and my chainsaws and all my own equipment and shit. I buy my own stuff for all that, but she pays for the food, and I take care of the snow removal and the grass and the garden and the chickens, and do the repairs and do all the work, right? Which is a good arrangement between the two of us, right? So we do that, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I gotta tell you that I'm blessed. My uncle paid for half my land, and so he owns half. but he's giving me his half when he dies. Which I don't know why I want to say that, but it's cool. It's cool because we're gonna build houses and we're just gonna invest into the land. And he thinks he sees the same thing happening. I got a compound bow. I think a slingshot is better than a compound bow. Honestly, for survival, just survival. If I could only have one, I'd bring a slingshot. The slingshot will fit right in your backpack. It's great to have marbles, boom, or pebbles, any kind of little rocks or whatever, even acorns. Any of that you can use. So it's easy to get ammunition for. It's easy to fucking attract some kind of animal to sustain yourself. So even still, like, what are you gonna do if you're in the woods and you get a moose? Like, shit, smoke the whole thing. You'd have to smoke the whole thing, right? You'd have to turn the whole thing into jerky or something. Smoke it. It's like dead fucking summer, man. Like, you have to cut the whole thing into strips and turn it into jerky to fucking preserve it, man. What else are you gonna do? Or salt the fuck out of it if you had a bunch of salt. Where are you gonna get a fucking bucket of salt? And I guess if you're near the ocean, if you're not lucky enough to be near the ocean, where are you gonna get a bucket of salt from? Anyway, I don't know, man. I think what you'll see people starting to come more together by race. I think you'll see attacks, like racial-based gangs attacking each other. I think you'll see a lot of scapegoating towards races. I think you already see that. I see that already, right? I see a lot of people who are like hating the immigrants because you're blind, man. You can't hate. Like, they're just people seeking a better life. You can't hate them. Okay, you can hate the betrayal of your country. You can hate the betrayal of your people or whatever. Which I don't even. What I hate is the effects of it all. So what it is the way I see it is, okay, you bring in all these people, but you bring in so many that they take away all the summer jobs from the young people. Now, instead of young people being able to go get a job at Tim Hortons, on weekends and in the summer for Tim Hortons and McDonald's, which is what you used to see, now they can't get that. So this opportunity has been taken from them, which was an opportunity that a lot of them were like that's how they got their first car, was their job at McDonald's or whatever it was that they were saving for, right? And that's now like gone. And even like a lot of like single moms used to have jobs, at like Tim Hortons and McDonald's and all these places, and that's gone. I think they're banking hard on this, on AI and this universal basic income for people. I think universal basic income is gonna happen anyway. I think they're gonna maybe put a lot of faith into AI that maybe it's not gonna deliver, but they're still gonna fucking bank the system, because I think it's gonna be. I think they're gonna use that as an excuse to impose communism. Basically, like this universal basic income is communism. I think it's going to be, but they're going to have to do it. You can already see that it needs to happen because all those jobs of people that used to be tellers can no longer be tellers, right? All those people who, like, because it used to be when you went to the store, there was a teller, right? You'd go to the dollar store, there'd be like 10, 5 or 6 different people. Now there's like one person or two people and all these machines, right? And so machines taking over work for people is already happening. And our economy was never designed for that. The economy that we have in the free market was never designed for for machines doing the work of human beings. And right. So now what do you do with everybody? Like everybody has to have a means of sustaining themselves. But with when you know what I mean? But when you have well, that's the thing though. All this food insecurity, homeless crisis, all these things that are happening benefit the government. You have to look at how does it benefit the people in power to have these things going on? Well, it puts a lot, even though it's like instability where people are going to rise up. No, they're not. No, they're not going to rise up. The instability works for them because who do we look to fix it? We look to them. It keeps them necessary. That's all that matters. All that matters is that they can be necessary. Is that we need them. Is that we depend on them. It doesn't matter if we love them, we hate them. It doesn't matter which one we vote for. It just matters that they are needed. So crisis that's why the world's always in crisis. That's why you'll never see. That's why I don't know. I'm 45 years old. And there's never been a day of my life when the earth was just peaceful. It seems to have gotten worse over time. But like when I was a kid, it seemed like that, but I wasn't watching the news. Because honestly, if I don't watch the news today, if I just like keep my phone down and I'm milling lumber, the world is peaceful. The world is peaceful. That's what I mean too. Is there even a crisis? I think it's all just. I think honestly, I think it's mind control. Like it's all mind control. No matter what we're paying attention to, there's an algorithm telling us that we see that our worldview is right. Like that's the thing. Fucking these algorithms on YouTube. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. You're always getting material that supports your worldview. But that's the thing, though. It's so funny is that that's actually what happens in the real world, too. And it programs you. So, like, the digital world programs you the same way the real world does. Oh, fuck. Because it does. The algorithm doing that is like how the real world acts. It's just they can control it. That is the fucking darkest thing that's what's actually happening. They control it. Because that's how the human mind is programmed. Like it's meant to be in a natural world. Is like you eat an apple, it tastes sweet, it tastes good, and it rewards you. Or you know what I mean? Or you learn how to, the better you get at things, the better you get at gardening, the better your plants are going to be and the more healthy they're going to be. And you get rewarded. When you like double cross someone and people find out, you get stoned. It's your punishment, Well, like the real world, it does do that. But also we we tend to do that anyway. We ignore things that we don't agree with, and we will watch things that we agree with. But the algorithm recognizes that. And I'm going to tell you, man, if you like, I watch both. I watch some pretty left wing shit. Actually, I was watching a video of Karl Marx not long ago. And I was in agreement with him on a lot of things until a point came where I'm like, oh my God, this is nonsense. But I got to say, man, I've got like some commonality with him, or at least part of me believes in some of his philosophies. But me, the way I see reality, man, is this, man, is like you're in control of it anyway. Your reality is always going to match your frequency. And like, I don't know, and you just move in a direction and just always keep working towards it. You'll get there. It's like learning a skill. It's like the physical world. And that's the thing, man. Like, if you have a vision, I've never not accomplished something that I set out to do. So like now I'm getting, this summer I'll be logging my land again as I did last summer. Just this summer, I'm going to be a lot better at it. And I'm going to have more people to help me. And we're going to continue not logging the whole land, but we're cutting in a long driveway. And from there, we'll begin opening space, milling wood, just continuing sending logs to the mill. All right. It's just what I do in the summertime. I send logs to the mill. And this year I'll be keeping a lot of logs from my own mill and just kind of get started with a farm. And if shit goes down real bad, I'll have a farm and a lumber yard. I guess the beginning is a lumber yard. That's the first thing I'm gonna have. I'm gonna get first thing is a wood kiln, and then like a big 3-sided building. And I'll get permits for those. I still have some money to put into my mill, but it's a good mill. For the trees that I've seen so far, the mill's fine. Although I think once I get a little bit further in, the trees start getting bigger than trees I thought they had around here, actually. So yeah, at least down by the creek, the trees are huge. I didn't think they had trees like that here. So, and my mill won't work on them. I don't even think the biggest mills we make would work on those trees, though. So, you just have to cut them with the chainsaw into manageable pieces that you can mill and mill them. So, that's my plan with them. I got a 25-inch bar. Even that won't fucking cut through a fucking 48-inch tree, though. But I could shave down the sides with it. Pretty much make a cant with the chainsaw, get it onto the mill, and then mill it from there. As long as it's less than 26 inches or 22 inches. Ooh, 20 inches, actually. Yeah, it's 20 inches. It's 22 inches. They say it'll do a 22-inch cant, or a 22-inch log, 20-inch cant. I can mill a 20-inch cant. And that's the absolute max, which is bigger than anything I would want to mill anyway. Well, so anything other than that I have to do with the chainsaw. So we'll see how things. I hope the trees aren't that big. If they're that big, I'll probably just send them to the mill. I don't think I would cut down trees that big. Well, I have to cut down some, but I wouldn't want to cut down trees that big. I don't think I'll even touch trees that big. I think I'll just leave them. I hope I don't have to. If I get into a spot like that, but that's kind of what it looked like when I was down there. Was trees like that. Fuck, they were huge. I don't really want to disturb that down there. I'll stay away from that. But I'll kind of get somewhat close to it. I'd like to have a house that's like 100 meters away. Have a little cabin like 100 meters away. Or 100 meters from the river would be nice, you know. Just leave the river completely natural. And then it's a creek. It's not a river, but leave a creek completely natural. But just go down. Just go down for have a little walk to go down there. A little cabin with a wood stove there. That's all I want. Cabin with a wood stove, pigs, chickens, little sawmill. Good people, friends, I want to have friends, good friends. I don't know, man. The world's a crazy place, man. It's hard. One-on-one, I trust people and I like people. As soon as you start getting groups of people together, man, who have their own interests at heart, I start not liking people no more. I really do. I don't like groups. I don't like the politics. Power struggles, the games. So if I can do anything for you, tell me, man. Let me know. I'd love to help you. If not, man, that's it. I want to be able to take care of myself, survive, live. I want to be able to. I want to be able to make my life what it needs to be, or well, I guess my life is what it is, man. It's perfect in most ways. It's beautiful to work. It's just good to have the skills, man, but it's also good to learn. It's always good. You know what? That's the thing. That's my problem. My issue with Christianity. You know what? My problem with Christianity is. It's like dead. Once you know it, you know it. It's not living. Like, I believe in in life you should have questions. You should have desire. You should have inspiration. You should have. I don't know. Life should be adventurous, and so should your faith in God. It should be adventurous. Ask questions you'll never know the answers to. Have a God that you're talking to every day. Hey, man, God, what's going on, bro? Know your God, man. Know him. Anyway.